My beloved child, what I'm holding in my hands right now is more than just a file, it's a chilling declaration. A document that appears innocent on the surface, but the words printed on it have the weight of something unthinkable. Your name is on it, and next to your name, in bold, unshakable letters, is a word no one ever expects to see attached to themselves while still alive: deceased. Not recently. Not last month. According to this paper, you have been dead for 2 years. But the reality is that you're right here, alive, breathing, and listening, and you're asking yourself the most burning question of all: who did this? This is not just a clerical error. This was not an error. This was deliberate. Someone took the time to forge, file, and stamp this death, yours, into history. Someone with access, intent, and cruelty in their veins chose to erase your existence on paper and bury you silently while you were still alive. This was not simply betrayal. This was a cover-up, a disappearance disguised as paperwork. A grave dug using ink instead of a shovel. But here's the thing, you weren't meant to find out. You were not intended to see this document. You were not supposed to ask questions. You were meant to remain invisible, forgotten and gone. Nonetheless, you remain present. Still standing. Still breathing. Still destined for something bigger. Which begs the question, why? What did they gain by pretending you were no longer present? Was it money? Power? Silence? Or was it something deeper, more personal? Only someone close to them could commit such a betrayal. Because, child, this was not done by a stranger. This is from someone who knew you. Someone had to look at your name and then sign it with death. Yes, I understand that hearing this makes your skin crawl, your heart race, and your trust shatter. But don't let fear have the last word. Because now that the truth is known, so is your strength. You are more than just a name on a page. You're not a ghost. You are not what they attempted to make you. You're alive. And your story isn't finished. In fact, it's only the beginning. So, stay with me, child. The lies they created around your name are about to crumble. The ones who orchestrated this silent funeral will be exposed one by one. And the truth, the real truth, is darker than you expected, but it will set you free. This time, you'll get to write the ending. Listen carefully, my beloved child, but only if you are prepared. Ready to discover what has been hidden. Ready to reveal the truth hidden beneath silence and shadows. If your heart is steady and your spirit is open, please give me a few minutes. And I promise that by the end, you'll understand why things have felt strange, why the weight on your soul has grown heavier even when everything else appears to be still. If you're ready to start, come with me now, because what I'm about to reveal will change everything. To understand what is happening to you, we must return, not to earth, but to a much higher plane. A few nights ago, the heavens were enveloped in profound, divine silence. Every star stood still. Every soul was at rest. The wind did not stir. The birds of light folded their wings. The golden halls were dim and quiet. Even the mighty elders, those who had witnessed creation firsthand, had fallen asleep, their mighty snores echoing through eternity. It was the kind of silence that occurs only once in 1,000 lifetimes. A pure silence that could only be broken by something sacred, or terribly wrong. And something was wrong. While all of heaven slept soundly, one was tossed and turned by the weight of revelation. He wasn't dreaming, he was searching. Panicked. Shaken. It was the keeper of records, in charge of both the living and the deceased scrolls. His hands trembled as he flipped through each page. His eyes widened. His heart pounded with something he had never experienced before, fear. You see, child, he discovered something he was not supposed to. Something that did not make sense. According to the Book of the Deceased, you were no longer alive. Not just recently, for 2 years. But something was wrong. Your name was there, but your light was still burning brightly. Your file has been marked. Your record is sealed. But your life force had not faded. That's when he knew it wasn't a mistake. It was interference. The manipulation of divine records. This should have been impossible. He was unable to bear the weight alone. So he did something no one in his position had ever done, he broke protocol. He ran through the golden halls, rousing the higher souls, the council of wisdom, the watchers, and the scribes of truth. He took them one by one into the chamber and showed them what he had discovered. And when their gaze fell on your name, every face turned pale. Nobody could explain it. No one could understand how a living soul could be erased from the heavenly book. They immediately approached me. My door was knocked in the dead of night, not with fear, but with urgency. Before they said anything, I opened it and knew something was wrong. And when they handed me that record, I felt the disruption, theft, and injustice. I turned the pages slowly. And when I saw your name on the list of the deceased, long crossed out in the book of purpose, I knew it wasn't a mistake. This was an attack, a plot to silence your light. Someone had attempted to write your ending before you had even finished the middle. So, child, I'm asking again, are you ready? Because everything I read in that book, about your life, destiny, and stolen time, is now coming to the surface. And if you stay with me, I will reveal every detail, who was responsible, what they took, and why your return will shake every power that attempted to bury you. This is your opportunity to reclaim what was stolen. If you are ready, let us turn the page together. My child, when I finally opened the book of eternal records, bound in celestial gold, hidden in the highest realms of heaven, protected by seals that no ordinary spirit can break, I had no idea what I would see. This was not an ordinary book. It contains the truth about all living things, the heartbeat of every soul under divine protection. And every detail is etched by light, never changed, never incorrect. Your name appeared nestled between the sacred pages. Still alive. Still shining. Still enveloped in my grace. You were accounted for among the living. The record was clear. Heaven hadn't forgotten you. But even as I held that truth in my hands, I sensed something amiss, a dissonance, a disturbance that caused the air to shift and the silence to break. Something didn't fit. So I went to the second record, the book mortals rely on, the earthly registry that records births, lives, and deaths. And that's when the contradiction hit full force. That book, that earthly account, claimed you were gone. Not missing. Not hidden. Dead. It said you died 2 years ago. Since your final breath, the earth has completed 2 full rotations around the sun. I read it over and over, hoping the words would change. However, they didn't. It was a fixed lie in a world of shifting truths. And yet, my spirit rejected it, because I had already seen the true record. Your name glows. Your story is still unfolding. Your life is still wrapped up in divine timing. 2 books. 2 worlds. 2 truths. However, only one could stand. And understand this, my child, heaven does not make mistakes. So when I saw the discrepancy between what is and what was falsely claimed, I knew someone had tampered with your earthly records. Someone with a particular agenda. Someone consumed by darkness dared to create a narrative against you. This was not an accident. This was betrayal wrapped in paperwork. They didn't simply want to erase you. They wanted to change your destiny, stop your rise, and rewrite your ending before you even fulfilled your promise. And the question lingered in the halls of heaven: who did this? What did they gain from burying you in ink while you were still alive? What power were they attempting to seize by declaring you gone? Hold on to that thought, child, because what I discovered next sent shockwaves through the heavens. And if you're ready, I'll reveal the truth they buried. I did not sit quietly when the stars held their breath and the heavens remained silent at midnight. I rose, not with whispers or gentle winds, but with a roar that shook every spiritual barrier between realms. I summoned my angels, not the gentle messengers, but the warriors, forged in fire and trained for divine combat. I didn't send them any soft instructions. I sent them off with a thunderous command: tear through the lies. Search the shadows. Shake the silence. And do not return to me without the truth in your hands. Because this was more than just an attack on you, it was a declaration of war on heaven's decree, my divine order, and the future I envisioned for you before you were born. Someone did not simply forge a document, they also questioned my authority. They attempted to rewrite what I'd written in stone. But they forgot something, child. They forgot who you belonged to. They forgot who had the last word. They forgot that resurrection always comes after a false burial. And now, everything they tried to hide is being revealed. My child, when I gave the order, my angels moved faster than lightning and sharper than truth. Not a single shadow evaded them. They descended into data vaults, broke into closed systems, and spied on government buildings, courtrooms, hospitals, and homes that swore confidentiality. They entered rooms where masks were worn and lies were disguised as civility. They stood beside those who plotted in silence, invisible but all-seeing, listening for whispered betrayals behind your back. And they did not return empty-handed. They arrived carrying a scroll heavy with truth, soaked in revelation, and inscribed with a betrayal so profound that even heaven paused. When I opened that scroll, child, my hands trembled not with fear, but with righteous fury. Because what I witnessed was no minor offense. This was more than just a forged document or an incorrectly spelled name. No, this was deliberate. Calculated. Cold. They didn't just want your name removed, they wanted your entire existence devoured. They wanted your home, harvest, and inheritance. They tried to take everything I placed in your hands. Your joy. Your position. Your voice. They reached for everything. This was more than just a personal attack, it was spiritual identity theft. And I need you to understand something now, something eternal and irreversible. They did not simply lie about your death. They attempted to murder your future. What they desired was much more sinister than silence. They wanted your destiny to be vacant so they could walk into it. They wanted to take your place, where your anointing as if it belonged to them, reap the blessing intended for you, and claim your life as if it were their birthright. They assumed no one would notice. They assumed heaven wouldn't see. But they forgot, I am the Lord your God. I don't blink. I do not sleep. I do not ignore the cries of the anointed. Child, I watched it all happen. I overheard the meetings. I sensed the schemes rise like smoke. And I allowed it to reach my throne, not because I was late, but because justice delayed is justice multiplied. They had come into contact with something sacred. They tampered with what had been set apart. They did not simply trespass on your life, they also trespassed into my divine plan. And for that, I've issued the verdict. Justice has been summoned. It is up to me to avenge. The Lord will repay, Romans 12 verse 19. Don't let the silence deceive you. Just because they appear unharmed now does not guarantee that their hands will remain clean. Every stolen cent, every forged paper trail, every door they shut in your face, I'm reopening it. And this time, I'm going through it with you. What they built with your stolen identity is crumbling. What they tried to conceal is being revealed. The curtain is lifting, and their disguise is ripping at the seams. You, child, are rising again, not as a victim, but as a symbol of divine vengeance. Remember this moment in your spirit. Engrave it deeply. The same people who pushed you out, dismissed you, and dared to erase you are about to witness your public restoration. Your name, the one they attempted to bury, is being inscribed in gold in the book of divine return. And this time, the world will remember more than just your name. They will remember the God who raised you. My precious child, lean in and allow this truth to soak into the depths of your heart. The way you speak has more power than you realize. Your voice is more than just sound, it is spiritual. It's all about influence. It is the act of creating something. Every word you say either strengthens or weakens, elevates or depresses, heals or harms. Even when you are tired, angry, or misunderstood, your words carry weight. So, I encourage you to speak as if you are shaping hearts, because you are. Speak with tenderness, even when correcting. Speak with grace, even if you disagree. You don't always see what bruises others have. You don't always hear the silent battles raging beneath their calm smiles. But I see them. And I've called you to be a vessel of compassion, not a source of more pain. Let your words be filled with kindness. Allow them to drip with mercy and hope. Let every conversation reflect my love, even when the situation is tense or inconvenient. When you speak, child, let heaven be heard in your tone, not because you are perfect, but because you are connected to me, the source of perfect love. Allow your words to be a gentle rain on thirsty ground, a balm for the wounded and a steady light for those who are lost in inner darkness. Even silence can be sacred when it stems from understanding. You don't have to always have the last word. However, when you do speak, ensure that your words reflect the kingdom. Now hear this deeper truth: to truly master your life, you must first master your mind. Every action, emotion, and habit originates in thought. Your thoughts serve as the foundation for the rest of your life. So guard that inner ground with purpose. Pay attention to what you let in, what you meditate on, what you replay, and what you think about yourself and others. Because thoughts are not harmless, they are seeds. And if you plant consistently, you will eventually live. Begin to study yourself, not for shame, but out of curiosity. Why are certain things triggering you? Why do you feel anxious in certain environments? Why does your spirit shine in others? This awareness is not weakness, it is wisdom. Because once you understand what shapes you, you can reshape it using my truth. When you master your patterns, you gain power. When you start asking why, you start to discover who you are. And when you realize who you are, who I carefully and wonderfully created you to be, your life begins to flow with divine clarity. You will no longer seek approval or be swayed by fear. You will no longer buckle under pressure or wander aimlessly. Instead, you'll rise, with clarity, purpose, and discernment that cuts through distraction. Because a mind attuned to truth is a soul at peace. And from there, you are unstoppable. So go inward, child. Seek to understand yourself rather than just being known. For truly knowing yourself will bring you face to face with me, your creator, guide, and unwavering source of light. During that meeting, everything changes. The more you discover your own soul, the better you'll understand your sacred mission in this world. Walk forward with tenderness in your voice and truth in your thoughts. This is how heaven moves through you. Listen carefully, my beloved child, because this is not a delay, it is a design. Waiting is not a waste of time. It's a sacred preparation. In my world, time does not run by the second or the day. I don't measure in hours or weeks because eternity moves in rhythm, not on clocks. Divine timing is not about how long something takes, it is about how prepared your soul becomes. What appears to be a pause is actually an ongoing process. A refinement. A gentle transformation in which your heart softens, your faith deepens, and your spirit expands into its true form. I understand it's not easy. I see how you struggle with the unknown, how your soul becomes weary of wondering when. But, child, if only you could see what I see, how close you really are. The truth is, I have already written your breakthrough. The answer is already alive. However, the door only swings open when your spirit aligns with the version of yourself I created to walk through it. That alignment occurs not by working harder, but by surrendering more deeply. It happens when you let go of the fear that says, you're not enough. When you silence the lie that tells you, you're behind. When you overcome your anxiety and embrace faith. Because divine timing is not passive, but rather a divine encounter between your becoming and my blessing. And this encounter can occur in an instant. The version of yourself that walks with clarity, confidence, and purpose is already within you. She isn't far. He's not hiding. That version emerges whenever you choose growth over comfort, truth over fear, and purpose over suffering. And when that version appears, the promise you've been praying for will no longer seem distant. It will feel unavoidable. So, lean in. Continue to be open. Make this the week you stop waiting for change and begin aligning with it. Allow this to be the moment when you see every challenge as an opportunity to prepare. Each delay is divine. Because what I'm doing behind the scenes is nothing short of extraordinary. You don't see all the threads yet, but I do, child. Every shift, every closed door, and every gentle nudge is me bringing you closer to your goal. Trust it. Trust me. Even when nothing appears to be different on the outside, everything is changing on the inside. And, yes, I promise you, something good is on its way. Something unexpected. Something that heals. Something holy. So don't shrink back. Do not close your heart. Stretch. Breathe. I hope again. Because the moment you become the person I've always known you could be, the future I created for you will rush in like a flood of light. Let this be the week you say yes, not only to the promise, but also to the process that will prepare you to carry it out.